Thanks everybody for turning out today. Looks like it's going to be a good day for us to honor the veterans here. Welcome to Wreaths across America, and hope you have a good day as we honor the veterans who are buried here, and also give them a bit of holiday cheer. But let's also not forget that today, 16 December 2023, it's the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. Without the Tea Party and the following protests in 1774, what will be our 2024, that were across the colonies, there may not have been a revolution, and none of us would be here today. The Boston Tea Party was one of several protests, but it got most of the press and attention, and it was arguably the spark to the fuse of the revolution. How did that happen briefly? In September and October of 1773, the East India Company stocked a total of 544,000 pounds of tea, or roughly 2,000 full chests, each weighing about 400 pounds. The tea was loaded onto several trading ships, and they set sail for North America colonies. Sailing for Boston were the Eleanor, the Dartmouth, the William, and the Beaver, the Nancy to New York, the Polly to Philadelphia, the London to Charleston. The EIC was intending to blanket the four major ports of North America. Their directors believed that these shipments would radically transform the current market in America and make the colonists happy and restore their profits. But as author Joseph Cummings points out in his book, 10 Tea Parties, of course, it didn't quite work out that way. What happened to the EIC's tea? Well, on November 28th of 1773, the Dartmouth did arrive off Castle William near Boston with 114 chests of tea. It participated in the Boston Tea Party. December 1st of 1773, the London arrived in Charleston with 257 chests of tea, about 13% of the first shipment planned. December 3rd, 1773, the Eleanor made land and participated in the Boston Tea Party. December 7th of 1773, the Beaver lands. It too participated in the Tea Party. It had 340, of the 342 total chests of tea, about 17% of it, of the initial EIC's first shipment, participated in the Tea Party. December 10th, 1773, the William hit a sandbar off Cape Cod. On the 18th, it was racked by a storm and the ship was wrecked, and that tea was lost along with the ship. December 22nd, 1773, the London's cargo is ordered unloaded in Charleston and secured in the basement of the old Exchange building in Charleston. It was ruined sitting down there in that damp basement, and the ship was ultimately loaded with some more tea and set sail for New York. Later, when the Sons of Liberty in Charleston found out about what happened in Boston, they were mortified that they had let the tea land in Charleston. December 25th, 1773, the Polly with 697 chests pulled up to Philadelphia. This was about 35% of overall first shipment. The Polly was forced to return to England without unloading any tea, or anything else for that matter. The cause and effects of these protests made the English Parliament act, firstly, by closing the Boston Port in the Boston Port Act on March 31st, 1774. And this was agreed to by King George. With the port closure and the Navy to enforce the blockade on 1 June of that year. April 18th, the Hard Luck Nancy arrived off Sandy Hook, New Jersey on her way to New York Harbor. The Nancy turned around and sailed back to London, although she had been wrecked in a storm nearly, but she did get back to London eventually. Did not deliver any tea. On 22 April of 1774, the London arrived in New York Harbor from Charleston. Crowds aboard it searched to find what was on the ship, and they destroyed 18 chests of tea without damaging the other cargo. 13 May of 1774, the EIC ship Geddes is boarded in the Chester River of Chestertown, Maryland, The tea and a couple of the sailors that tried to stop the tea from going over the side went overboard. Our Maryland folks in Chestertown still celebrate that today around Memorial Day. It looks like an awesome festival, so if you're in that area about that time, check it out. The Massachusetts Government Act quickly followed, which basically took away representative government to the colony from their charter on May 20th. The Act of Impartial Administration soon followed, which basically gave the royal governor the right to try somebody out of the colony or send them to Great Britain for trial, something that the Massachusetts colonists were not accustomed to nor agreed with. The Quartering Act soon followed, which allowed troops to be quartered wherever the military thought they needed to be quartered within the colony, whether it was inconvenient for you or not. The Quebec Act, sometimes as included as the Fourth Coercive Act, basically extended the boundaries of Quebec into the Ohio River Valley and ruined property speculation for numerous colonial leaders, to include George Washington. First Continental Congress met September 5th, 1774, to coordinate a colonial response. The Coercive Acts caused a clear shift in American public opinion to get overall. George Washington, by example, had once questioned the radicals in Boston for the Tea Party and conceded that we do not approve of their conduct in destroying the tea. As a matter of fact, the destruction of the tea was, and who did it, was a closely held secret for many years, up to just prior to our Civil War, because until about 1840, they could still be taken to civil court and charged with the cost of the tea. But after the Quebec Act, even George Washington fully rallied behind the Bostonians and understood that the Coercive Acts threatened American liberty. So on 28 September 1774, the folks in York, Maine had an additional tea party, adding to the protest, which was followed by, on 19 October of 1774, when the Peggy Stewart, an EIC ship with 17 chests of tea, ran aground near Annapolis and was boarded by Sons of Liberty and burnt to the ground, or the water line, I should say. 25 October 1775, Miss Penelope Barker, a well-to-do lady in Edenton, North Carolina, led a ladies' protest against tea, and with the Ladies of North Carolina's Patriotic Guild. This is recognized as the first public organized women's protest in America. 12 December 1774, the ship Greyhound is warned off by the Peggy Sue's burning docks in Greenwich instead of Annapolis. The tea is offloaded and hidden with the intent to smuggle it into Philadelphia, as smuggling was still a means of doing a lot of business across the colonies. But they are found out on December 18th. On 22 December, the Greenwich Tea Party is held by 23 young men of the town, thinking much like the Sons of Liberty. They broke into the house, found the hidden tea, pulled it out into the town green, and burned it. It was noted that the men were disguised and dressed as Indians. Author Joseph Cumming notes, New Jersey gave us the last colonial era tea party. It seems fitting that the tea demonstrations ended as they began, with Indians destroying East India Company tea in a wild frenzy. So with that, I conclude my remarks and hope if you're able, please join the chapter's joint effort with the DAR later this afternoon in Charleston to celebrate the Tea Party. Thank you.